Morning guys, Matt with Family Tradition Farms. We're back here for day number 2 of soybean planting. So yesterday went pretty well. Sorry, not yesterday, the day before. Went pretty well. Had a lot of things we had to work through on the planter. Several things that we had some issues with. You can catch that out in our video from earlier. We do have a few things to repair and adjust before we can go to the field. Still got to swap seed over and things like that. Let me show you what we tore up yesterday. So we're not running any liquid on the beans. We just have liquid in here for extra weight. But if you look down here, that's missing something. So yeah, missing a row cleaner. I know a general vicinity of where it's at in the field, but I didn't exactly find it. I've got a spare. We're gonna toss that spare on there and just get back to running. The other issue we had was our drive chains. The corn stalks kept jumping up and knocking off the drive chains. In fact, that dude, it's completely gone. I'm hoping we didn't bend anything. I know we sheared some cotter pins off up there. That's why there's now a hose clamp instead of a cotter pin. So we'll get that fixed up. I still got beans, need to empty them out, put in a different maturity bean, and I've got a spare chain. We'll probably go ahead and get that thrown on there too. So we're just gonna get after it, hopefully get to planting before noon. There we go, much better. Got the seed dumped out in the tub. We found one of our old chains out of the scrap pile, got him stuck on there. It's pretty worn out, but it's better than nothing. Still need to lube all the chains up, check and make sure we didn't shear any other cotter pins that I didn't notice. We're going to tighten up those hose clamps, one there and one there, to make sure that drive dog doesn't try to separate on us again. We got the rock shaft greased up. It's easier to do when it's sitting on the ground because it kind of separates a little bit and you actually get grease in there. So now we just need to raise the planter up, get this yetter wheel stuck back on there, grease up all the chains, and I guess we might throw some seed in there before we raise it up. Well, our pile of seed is dwindling very quickly. We've still got some 3-2 Pioneer left. That's kind of just going to be our replant seed if we have to spot some in. We ended up planting a 3-8 Brevant yesterday on one of our far smaller fields. And this is the 342 EE. That's going to go on our big field there around Mom and Dad's house. So that was the best soybean that we had all year on our plot. And then in a couple neighbors' plots, it was also the best. So we want to put that on as many acres as possible. We'll get it loaded up. We still have a 394 EE left. We're going to run that through the drill just to basically make it as late as possible, because those fields are going to be farther down away from the farm than what the stuff around the house is. We were checking the oil and decided to go ahead and check the sediment filter, and wow. That is that's pretty gross. So we're gonna turn the fuel off. There's a cock valve underneath there. Get that opened up, clean it out, and that should help it run better. Okay, that wasn't too bad. It was super clogged and gummy and nasty, but we got it cleaned out, pumped up, fired up. We got the planter raised up. Now we're gonna get that yetter wheel stuck on there and go through and grease our gauge wheels and our row cleaners, and we should be ready to head to the field. Well, made it down to the big field. All we're gonna do is loosen up this far marker, which is the inside marker, as we loop around the field. That way we can drop a mark only on the inside. We don't need to put anything on the outside. So gonna loosen up this one. And then we should be ready to oh yeah, we gotta turn the monitor on up there in the cab, get it turned on, and then we'll be ready to start going. Well, we got started. As you can see, monitor's working good. Pretty happy with that. Yeah, we do leave a gap between here. That way we can come down through here with the mower or the sprayer and take care of anything along this ditch. This year we left it on that side also, because this side over here, I thought we'd be able to hit it with spray, but we weren't quite able to. Oh, there's a little turtle down there. Oh, there goes another one. Oh, he's a big boy. All right, let's get back here. Let's dig some seed. Now, guys, this field was actually cover cropped with the full intention of putting corn out here. So as we get out here, you'll notice it is a much heavier, so we got hairy vetch. That's some oats. I think I saw some crimson clover. Yep, there's some crimson clover out here. So this was oats, crimson clover, hairy vetch, and then a tiller radish, which obviously did not overwinter, which is fine. But our full intentions was to go corn on this field, but with the price of nitrogen and the low commodity prices, we decided that economically it made a lot more sense to just put this back into soybeans, because this is also only my second year farming this. I grew up right there. That's mom and dad's house. That's where I live now. So I'm new to the regenerative side in this field. You can see we got plenty of moisture down in here. We ended up getting about 1/10 of rain last night, which wasn't really enough to do anything except kind of knock the dust down. So we'll start here on row 6. I'm getting a notification that row 6 is planting a little heavy, which isn't that big of a deal on soybeans. There's one. There's another one. We're looking for about that 1 knuckle deep, about 1 inch deep, maybe a little shallow. There's another one right there. Yeah, about 1 inch. I'm good with that. So yeah, row 6 does appear to be planting a little bit light. Not sure what the deal is there. It could be the brushes maybe kind of funky in that Kinsey brush meter. But again, for soybeans, I'm not going to worry too much about it. We're going to go ahead and dig the rest of these 5 rows, jump back in, and head on. Here's another good opportunity to show a little shout out to this out farming monitor. You can see we're planting a little slow, 4.6 to 4.4, but our population is right spot on. So as opposed to driving down here, which actually says I'm going over 5 miles an hour, we're going off of the GPS, which is saying that we're pretty well spot on as far as our population goes, and that's what matters. Speed, don't care about population, that's what we're after. Sprockets are set to 121,000, so if I gotta drive a little bit faster, a little bit slower, we can just look right here and adjust accordingly. So this cover crop was all flown on by a drone before we harvested the beans, and you can tell down here below the hill, we got a much better cover crop stand. I mean, that vetch is way bigger. You can tell it, marker arms pushing it. But I'm really surprised how well it's planting. I had a lot of people tell me to be careful with the vetch and the row cleaners and markers, but honestly, it's planting really well. Our cornfield that we have yet to plant yet is really big vetch. I mean, probably bigger than this is. So hopefully this continues to work well and it works even better on our cornfield. just going to keep on. Obviously this cover crop's not near as big up here. Kids are standing in the window. Hey buddy. He loves watching the tractor go around. He'd love to be out here with me, but he literally just woke up from that. Oh, there's Sis. Just woke up from that, so I don't even know if he's got his shoes on yet. He and Mom have some plans for today. We're just going to sit out here, make a bunch of passes back and forth. So last year we separated the markers on this planter because of how this ditch cuts through. We had a lot of point rows. So when we get to the end of the field, we have to raise our marker up separately from the rest of the planter. So basically, when the front of my tractor gets to the end rows, we raise our marker up. Then we raise the planter up. Right just as soon as we hit those end rows. Spin back around. We go in the reverse order. Drop the planter, drop the marker. Sometimes we've been having problems with this marker not wanting to cycle, so it takes a couple hits. There it goes. I can see in my mirror here that the correct marker is now dropped. So all we do is we're just making a little scratch in the ground, just enough where I can get a line and find a tree way down there or a shrub that's up against the solar panels and let me drive straight to it. That's my tree PS. Right here, the exact reason why I'm running the out farming planter monitor. Started beeping at me. We had some skips, big skips. Now if you'll notice, if we look down here, I should have 0.1 bags left, so not much. Let's just get out. Let's take a look and see just how accurate this monitor is. I'm gonna bet we're out of seed on row 1 and 3 for sure. And I'm going to say everything else is probably pretty low. Let's look. Row 1, out. Row 2, dang near out. Row 3, empty. Row 4, basically empty. Row 5, basically empty. Holy cow, guys. And row 6, okay, so row 6, actually, funny enough, that's the row that's been telling me on the monitor it's having singulation issues. It's got a lower population than all the other ones as we're going down through the field. So I'm gonna say either a disc or a brush or something within that meter is not right. Man, guys, I thought I was gonna be able to make it to the end of the field up there and then go grab seed, but that monitor saved my butt. I looked like a dang idiot because right there, that's the main road. And everybody knows that's my parents' house and they know I'm farming it. So they're going, ah, Matt, geez. Well, we got seed right there. Let's go grab it. Well, while we're out here just driving around playing, I thought I would run something past you guys that kind of been weighing on my mind a little bit. Now, as you know, I am 100% no-till with cover crops, and we are working our way down that regenerative cycle from reducing fertilizer, reducing chemicals, and hopefully getting towards a fully sustainable system. Now, I totally understand why people are so hesitant to go down that direction. I mean, you spend hours and hours and hours working out here in the fields. You want to make sure that you only run across here once with the planter. You don't want to have to do it multiple times. You want to make sure you can do the best job possible the first time. Now this is my 5th season farming, and I've had this planter longer than that we've done some smaller stuff with. I've made a ton of adjustments to it. Closing wheels, row cleaners, floating gauge wheel arms. I cut out the marker arms so that they actually notch better. A lot of guys get discouraged with this no-till regenerative system because it's not easy. But let me tell you, nothing easy is worth doing, and nothing worth doing is easy. So if you guys agree, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, because we are running right down that regenerative cycle, and you're going to want to stick around for the ride, because we got a heck of a lot more to come. We're almost there. Guys, this is our last field of 30-inch row soybeans, so once we make it to the end, we're going with the planter. Woo! We made it! I had no problem. I was not scared. I had faith. So anyways, guys, I appreciate you hanging out with me. This was a really fun video to shoot today. It looks pretty bushy. But sorry I didn't get more filmed outside the cab. It was kind of difficult to do by myself. But if you made it this far, as I always say, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell. That way you get notified next time we drop some more farming content. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Thanks, and you guys have a good one.